I'm excited to discuss Azure Data Catalog and give you an overview and an example of how you'd use it, okay? So really what it's for is to discover data sources in your Azure environment, right? What those data sources are, and also describe the data sources that you've already found, okay? It provides the ability to add metadata and annotations around all Azure data. So if you want to describe a column or a data source or have applied documentation or a schema, you can do this in the Azure Data Catalog. Now, what it does is it provides a cloud-based service into which a data source can be registered, okay? The data remains in the existing location, right? So you're not moving it anywhere, but a copy of its metadata is added to the data catalog along with a reference to the data source location. So you know where you can go find it when you need it, right? So user goes and searches that, and they're able to find the data source that they're looking for, and they can locate it and then go to the source data if required, right? The metadata is also indexed to make sure that each data source is easily discoverable through a search, and it's understandable to the users who actually discover it. So tell me something about the data that I'm looking for, right? Discovering and understanding data sources and their use is the primary purpose of registering them in the data catalog, okay? Enterprise users might need data for things like business intelligence, application development, data science, or any other task where the right data is required, right? So they can use the data catalog discovery experience to quickly find data that matches their needs, right? They can also understand the data to evaluate if it applies to what they're looking for. Does it serve their purpose, right? They can consume that data by opening the data source in their tool of choice. So they go find the data set, they open it, and they can do what they're going to do with it, right? Now, at the same time, users can contribute to the catalog, the metadata, so they can understand what is being used, add annotations, and things like that, right? They can also register new data sources, which can be discovered by other users, can be understood by other users, and really consumed by other users who have permission to do so, okay? This isn't open for everybody. It's locked down by permissions, can be secured with Active Directory, as can most things with Azure. Now, just a kind of a basic example, right? So we're moving more towards this self-service BI idea where whether it's a data team or the IT team sets up data so that the users can go create their own dashboards in Power BI, right? So the information workers and the analysts can now create their own reports, workbooks, and dashboards without really having any restrictions from IT, because IT or the data team has already secured that data and making sure that they can only have access to what they need or should have, right? As the new data gets created by these analysts and workers, right, it can be challenging to provide information about the data, like where it is, so if I'm going to go share it, save it into a SharePoint repository, unless I tell everybody about it, and then 6 months from now need to remind that person over and over again, and this becomes cyclical, right? It's a huge waste of time for people, and it really just doesn't, it's just not an effective solution. So in comes Data Catalog, right, where it gives you the ability for the data creators to catalog and tag data, making it easier for all the other users that have permissions to find it, right? And they can register it in their centralized data catalog, right? And then it leaves the data where it came from, keep in mind, and then other users that have permissions can go ahead and add other annotations or other tags to that data, add additional metadata, anything that really applies that's useful for somebody. So it's a really good tool, and we at Pragmatic Works highly recommend it for all of your data projects in Azure. And we really love doing this stuff, and we really love helping people out with it. So if you have any questions or you would like some help with anything having to do with Azure Data Catalog or any Azure product at all, please click the link below, and we'll get back to you real quick with some great answers. Otherwise, thanks a lot. Have a great day.